What's up, everybody? It's Louie back here again. Quick recap of last Saturday. One of the fights fell off, JACKSONVILLE and Jeremy Stephens, but I still went 3-1 on the main card. You know, I think JACKSONVILLE would have won, but it is what it is. I still had a winning record. My biggest hit was Jacob Malkoon, plus 260. I knew he was going to do it. I had a feeling, and I'm pretty proud of myself about that one. And I got the Arlovsky fight wrong, but I mean, that was even money close fight, so it is what it is. This Saturday is going to be freaking insane. We got UFC 261, Kamaru Usman taking on Jorge Masvidal, the rematch for the 170-pound strap in Jacksonville, Florida. Sold out arena, 15,000 people. We also got two women title fights. We got Zhang Weili taking on Rose Namajunas for the strawweight title. And then we got Valentina Shevchenko taking on Jessica Andrade, up a weight class for the flyweight title. You know, couldn't have asked for a better card. First card back for fans, so I'm really excited. Let's get into it. The first fight on the main card, we got a pretty important matchup at men's light heavyweight, 205 pounds. Anthony Smith taking on Jimmy Crute. It's a crossroads fight, but for both guys, Jimmy Crute's trying to break to the top 10, the elite of the division. Anthony Smith is still trying to prove that he can get another title shot. Anthony Smith's last fight, he took on Devin Smith. Not much to talk about. Pretty easy one for Smith, actually. But in the first round, he gets the body lock takedown and throws some ground and pound, goes for a twister, gets reversed, but it's okay because he throws up the triangle and gets the submission pretty fast. Devin Clark wasn't ready for him, and Anthony Smith looked really good. And his fight before that, he took on Alexander Rakic. Didn't really go his way. In the first round, he gets dropped with a calf kick, but he scrambles to get to the back of the pack position standing, but he slides off and in full guard, but he tries to throw up the triangle, but it's not going to work on Rakic. Round two, he looks pretty good to start off. He hits him with a hard straight right, and then he clinches on the fence. But then he gets tripped into a full mount, and he tries the butterfly hooks to sweep, but again, it doesn't work, and they kind of just laid there the whole fight, the whole round, to be honest. And then in round three, he gets tagged with a left hook, and then two head kicks right away, and he takes his back in the clinch against the fence, but then he slides off again, and then Rakic gets the back control, and then he hits him with some vicious ground and pound to end the fight. Anthony Smith loses all 3 rounds, but Devin Smith, he looks good. So, and then Jimmy Crute, his last 2 fights ago, because both of his fights were very quick. I'm going to talk about them. He fought Modestas Bukauskas, and the first round he shoots a double and presses him up against the fence, and then he knocks him out with a straight right as Modestas is going for a body kick. It was pretty fast and vicious, and Jimmy Crute comes out hard every fight. And then the fight before that, he fought Michael Oleksiejczuk. I hope I'm saying that right. And then in another first round fight, and he gets a double leg takedown immediately, and then he takes his back, and then Oleksiejczuk tries to get up, but Jimmy Crute is all over him. Mat return, presses him. He'll shoot again on him if he has to. He did not break contact, kept him down. And then and then off the fence, he gets another takedown. He just rips at Kimura. It is vicious. And he gets a no in the first round. So basically, you know, Anthony Smith's kind of that gatekeeper guy. He's had some good wins. He's had some bad losses. Jimmy Crute, the new guy on the block, 25 years old. He has 2 really great wins. However, his last 2 wins aren't against notable names. And you look at the betting odds, Anthony Smith is plus 160 and Jimmy Crute somewhere around minus 200. And then Jimmy Crute, from what I've seen, he's a first-round fighter. I think he goes too hard in the first round. He hasn't been out of the first round. And Anthony Smith, you know, he can get it done against these new guys. You know, I think Anthony Smith has the wherewithal to drag the fight out. I think if Jimmy Crute gets out of the first round, I think he's in trouble. I think Anthony Smith is decent off his back. You know, he surprised Devin Clark with that triangle, and Devin Clark's no punk, so looking at the betting odds, and you just gotta have a little faith that Anthony Smith is he's a veteran at this point, so I'm gonna go with Anthony Smith. And then the next fight, we got an important matchup at 185 middleweight between Ryder Hall and Chris Weidman. Basically, whoever wins this fight is gonna get one last shot at the title. They'll be a new contender. Whoever loses will never get a shot again. We got Ryder Hall's last fight. He took on Anderson Silva, but I don't count that fight because Anderson Silva was way past it. So his fight before that, he took on Antonio Carlos Jr., who utilizes takedowns, and Chris Weidman's a wrestler, so that's a good fight to study. In the first round, he gets double-legged and gets taken in the standing back position. Carlos jumps on his back, but he's able to escape and get on the feet after that, and he delivers a strong left jab, and he's able to stuff the single after that. But then he gets hit with the overhand right, and he gets taken down against the fence. But he puts up some good resistance against it, but for a while, good fight against the fence, but he still gets taken down eventually. And then in the second round, he's able to circle out of the double leg attempt up against the fence. And then another double leg from Carlos, but it just goes to a clinch for 1.5 minutes, and you probably should have broke it up. No major damage happened. And then he gets off the fence, and then back standing, he's able to drop him with the straight 1-2. And this guy has power. This guy's power in his jab. That's how you know you're powerful, if you can drop people with the jab. And then he delivers heavy ground and pound. He's trying to finish the fight. However, he realizes he's not going to finish it, so he lets him stand up and saves his cardio. Doesn't blow his arms out, which is always a positive. And then Carlos shoots a high single to a clinch against the fence, and then he gets a standing backpack position to end the round. And then in the third round, he did more of the same. Carlos hits the duck under and just gets back control on the mat for the rest of the round. Throws a couple rear naked choke attempts in there, throws a couple punches, no major damage, but Uriah Hall gets dominated the third round. Today, I think it would have been 10-8, but Uriah Hall wins close decision. And then Chris Weidman's last fight, his return fight after a while. His return fight to 185. He fought Omari Akhmedov, who actually has decent wrestling himself. In the first round, Chris shoots a high single against the fence, but it gets stuffed. But then he gets the single leg to the trip, and Omari escapes, but Chris stays on the leg and it takes him down again, and then he's able to transition to half guard, which is good. He's not just laying on the ground. He's transitioning and staying busy, so the ref will keep it down there longer. And then in the second round, he gets hit with a 1-2, and then he gets single leg dumped against the fence. But he's able to get out eventually. He didn't stay there for too long, but then on the feet, Chris kind of dives for the high single. He does it a lot, and he leaves his head out exposed a little too much. And then, but then he gets hit with the liver shot, and he gets tie clinched, 2 hands on the head, and then he gets kneed in the head. And then Omari gets a double leg takedown himself, and then delivers some heavy ground and pound. But then Chris gets another high single takedown of his own. And then in the third round, Chris gets a double leg takedown, and he's able to get back control. And then he transitions to full mount, and he has the arm triangle attempt. He's not 100% on it, but he's threatening it, and it's decently tight. And he basically stays there. And then he delivers hard elbows to end the fight. So basically, I liked how Chris Weidman looked his last fight, returning, long layoff and back in 185. And, it's his first win in a long time. And, he was a little more cautious. They needed to be. He was a little sloppy, but he just needed to get a win for his mentality. And then, Uriah Hall against Antonio Carlos. I liked how he looked in his striking, but, his takedown defense, he tried a lot, but he cannot get his back taken in the third round like that for the whole round. Now, Uriah Hall is plus 100 and Chris Weidman's minus 125. Basically a pick 'em. Personally, I like Chris Weidman because, Chris Weidman's a little chinny, to be honest. But, Omari Akhmedov hits pretty hard. He was able to take his shots. And then, Uriah Hall's a little hesitant to throw. And I think Chris Weidman, all he's got to do is get him down. Now, Uriah Hall doesn't have the worst wrestling defense in the world, but he doesn't have the best. I think Chris Weidman will be able to stay outside of him and get that high single and, just grind out a third-round decision. Chris Weidman's my pick. Next fight, we got our first title fight. At women's 125 pounds flyweight, we got Valentina Shevchenko taking on Jessica Andrade. Jessica Andrade moving up from 115 pounds. In Valentina's last fight, she took on Jennifer Maia. In the first round, she throws a side kick and gets a headlock takedown. And there's not a whole lot of ground and pound. They sat in full guard for the rest of the round. And then in the second round, she gets pressed against the fence with the body lock, and Maia's able to get the trip takedown. And Valentina throws up a triangle attempt, but nothing comes out of it. This is the first round she's lost in a long time. And then in the third round, she utilizes the right jab as Maia swings her big 1-2, and then she gets pressed against the fence, but she gets out and hits her with the left leg head kick, and follows it up with a hard 1-2, which is always good to throw punches behind your kick. And then she hits her with the overhand left and then gets behind and gets the body lock takedown into half guard, and Maya escapes and presses her to the fence. And then in the fourth round, more to the same, overhand left, and then gets the body lock takedown into half guard again. And then in the fifth round, she hits her with the overhand left and gets the body lock. And then a spinning back kick she threw, which, you know, is pretty impressive and can throw people off guard. And then she blitzes her against the fence with 1-2s. And then Maya was able to clinch her up against the fence. And then Maya was also able to kind of counter with the right hand as Valentina was rushing forward with the 1-2. And then on Jessica Andrade, her last fight, she took on Caitlin Chukagian. This was her first fight up at flyweight. And then, you know, it was a pretty dominant first round win for Jessica. In the first round, she's able to press her up against the fence and gets the trip takedown into full guard. And then she's able to pick her up and slam her out of any type of submission attempts, triangles, or arm bars, you know, which looks good. But, you know, I don't think that pace is going to last with Shevchenko because you got to be prepared to go 5 rounds. But and then she's able to drop her with a right thigh kick. And then she gets the clinch up against the fence. And then she blitzes forward with 1-2. And she throws hooks instead of straight punches. She'll come forward with her hooks. And she gets a clinch against the fence. And then gets the high single takedown. And then they're back up on their feet. And then she's able to hit her once in the liver. And then you see Caitlin walk to the side of the cage. And then she hits her again in the same spot and gets the TKO. It's pretty quick and pretty vicious. And Jessica Andrade has a lot of power. And then in her fight before that, she fought Rose. This was down at strawweight, though. In the first round of that fight, she rushes forwards, swinging her 1-2s. But then she gets kneed in the head from a takedown. Rose is able to frame and just knee her in the head from it was a half shot. So a shot to watch out against Valentina. And then in the second round, she gets hit with a jab when she's rushing in. Rose was able to keep her at distance. But then in the third round, she's able to hit Rose with the right uppercut and then hits her with the right hook. And then gets her with a head and arm takedown. And then toward the end, Rose shoots again on her legs, but she's able to reverse it and then just get back up to the feet. So she's able to, you know, she has decent takedown defense. So basically, this is a crazy fight to make a prediction on because Jessica Andrade, you know, she's a good fighter, but, you know, she beat Rose and then Zhang Weili beat her. And then she's also moving up a weight class. And so the betting line, we got Shevchenko at -435, and we got Andrade at +325. And I don't like laying that much money on anybody, but if you're going to lay that kind of money, lay it. Valentina Shevchenko's the woman to do it. I like Valentina here. You know, it's going to be a close fight, interesting fight. I just think Andrade, I think she throws too much power. She rushes in too much, and I think Shevchenko will be able to stay on the outside and catch her. And I think Shevchenko is going to be able to take her down if she has to. I don't think Andrade is going to be able to get her to the ground. You will see, but you know, I picture it being. I think it'll go 5 rounds, and I think Shevchenko will outpoint her and be able to get the more dominant positions. I'm picking Valentina Shevchenko. In the co-main event, we got a women's title fight at 115 strawweight. We got Zhang Weili taking on Rose Namajunas. Zhang Weili's last fight, she took on Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And that fight was just a complete brawl, fight of the year for my money, and best women's fight of all time, if not greatest fight of all time, 100% honest. And Zhang Weili's last fight, she took on Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who's a monster. In the first round of that fight, she throws a side kick and then throws a 1-2 behind it, but then she gets tagged with Joanna's right hand. But she's able to utilize her left jab and blitz forward, and then she'll throw a 1-2 and then a leg kick, and then she hits her with a straight right that wobbles her a little bit, backs her up. And then in the second round, they both stand in the pocket and get into a firefight exchange. She's able to throw the 1-2, and then she ends with a leg kick, and then she throws a left jab, then shoots the double, but then they get into a clinch against the fence, and Joanna is able to reverse it, so she's pressing her against the fence. But Weili was able to reverse the clinch, and she threw hard elbows in there, and then she throws a counter right and a 1-2 that wobbled her. But then she gets clipped with a head kick toward the end of the round. But like I said, firefight, it's a crazy-ass fight. And then in the third round, she's able to blitz forward with the 1-2, and then another leg kick. And then she clips her with the counter left hook whenever Ioana comes in. But however, she gets hit with a straight left when Ioana switches a southpaw, and then just switches stances real quick and hits her with the left, which is pretty smart from Ioana. And then she gets clinched against the fence, and she gets the clinch against the fence, and then she gets the short trip takedown, but it's only for a second, and Ioana pops right back up, basically. And then she's able to catch Ioana's kick and then hit her with a straight right and kind of push her down to the mat. And then in the fourth round, she connects with the straight right in another firefight pocket exchange. And then Ioana connects with the head kick. And then in the firefight, she's able to get the 1-2. And then, but then she gets kneed to the head while she's coming in. But she connects with the left hook and then a hard straight right onto Ioana. But then she gets hit with a counter left, and then she counters with the right hand off of Ioana's head kick. And like I said, a lot of back and forth, so there's a lot of action. I'm not getting all of it, but I'm getting the gist. And then in the final round, she's able to connect with the left hook in the exchange 2 times, two subsequent exchanges. And then she gets clipped with 2 left hooks when she's swinging toward the end. And then she gets clinched up against the fence to end the fight. And like I said, just massive fight, massive firefight. And it was just basically all heart and all guts in that fight. And it was a very close decision. I still think Zhang Weili won. She showed a lot of toughness and durability in that fight. And, that's a great test for any champion to have. And then Rose Namajunas, her last opponent was Jessica Andrade, who I just talked about. And sorry, I might be rehashing a little bit, but I want to review this last fight of Jessica Andrade, but it's going to be from Rose's standpoint, what she did in the fight. So in the first round, Rose is able to connect with the straight right, and then she circles and she's able to connect with the left jab as she's backing up away from Jessica's power. And then, however, she gets clipped with hooks, but lands a big right hook of her own, and then she stuffs her shot and knees her in the head. It was a half shot from Jessica. And then in the second round, she utilizes her straight right, kind of like a jab. It's her power hand, but she's kind of pumping it out there like a jab, like a feeler, which I thought was interesting. But then she gets hit to the body, and then she starts pumping the left jab, and then she's able to circle out and connect with the 1-2 whenever Jessica is stalking her and coming forward like she does. And then in the third round, she gets clipped with her right uppercut and then clipped with the right hook, and then she gets taken down with the head and arm. But then she's able to clip her with the 1-2, but she gets clipped with the right hook herself. But then she's able to get a quick takedown, and even though it got reversed, Jessica reversed it. It's still good that she's going for it at the end of the fight, so that'll keep Zhang on her toes. And that was a huge element of her fight with Zhang's fight with Ioana was the clinch. It broke up. It wasn't just a striking firefight the whole time. So I'm not the best on women's MMA because I just don't know. I don't watch it as much as men's, and whenever I did watch it previous years, it wasn't my top priority. So I'm not super familiar with both of their bodies of work. But after watching the tape and the studies, Rose, she's been away for a while, and she had those beautiful fights against Ioana, and then Jessica Andrade, in their first fight, picks her up and slams her, and then she said she doesn't know if she wants to fight again, but then she comes back and puts on a decent performance against Andrade. But Zhang, she's been out mostly because of the COVID situation, but she's coming off a huge moral victory against Ioana. Not the most dominant performance, but she looked tough as hell. And this was a tough one for me. But you look at the betting odds, and Zhang is -200 and Rose is +165. And from what I've seen, Rose has, I don't know if her head's in it completely. I know that's not the best indicator, but that's what I'm thinking. And, Zhang's tough as nails. And, I think Rose, she'll slow down a little bit toward the championship rounds. And I think Zhang hits really hard. I think she's gonna crack her. She's knocked women out. And Rose has decent submissions, and she'll be able to stay away from the power and try to get the takedown if she can. But I think Zhang's gonna be able to keep her off of her. I think she's gonna stalk her the whole time, and I think she's just gonna be more aggressive. I think it'll be close. It'll probably be like 3-2. But I'm gonna just go with Zhang. I was very impressed with her last fight, and it's going to be a crazy fight. It's a title fight, and women's is more unpredictable than men in my opinion, but that's who I'm going to go with. Same main event, we got the rematch nobody asked for. We got a title fight at welterweight, 170 pounds, Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal 2. In Kamaru's last fight, he took on Gilbert Burns, and then he gets dropped pretty early with a right hook, and then he gets hit over the top again. Burns is able to throw the right hand over Kamaru's left jab. But then Kamaru was able to catch the head kick and stand over top of him. He, just throws strikes over top of him, doesn't jump on top of him because Burns is really good on the ground, and also Kamaru needed some time to clear his head, and that's championship level intelligence. And then he's able to kick him with strong low calf kicks, and then he kicks him to the body. He gets hit with a hard straight right, but then he's able to utilize his jab to keep Burns away. And then he gets hit with a right hook and then a blitz. But then in the second round, he gets hit with another counter overhand right over top of the jab, just like the first round. But then Kamaru was able to wobble him with the overhand right. He hits him with the jab, and then 2 overhand rights up against the fence. And then he's able to drop him with the jab as Burns puts his knee up to go for a kick. And then in the third round, Kamaru switches stances to southpaw and drops him with the left jab, and then stands over top of him and just grounds and pounds him and gets a TKO. Masterful performance from him, and that jab is very powerful, and that's something we haven't seen in previous fights, and I think you credit that to working with Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje. And then I'm just going to summarize Kamaru and Jorge's last fight together because that's Jorge's last fight. So in the first round of that fight, Usman, he's able to catch his kick and get a takedown immediately. And then he gets clinched up against the fence. But then Jorge is also able to hit him with a jab while he's backing up, and they switch his stances. And then in the second round, Kamaru is able to get the clinch against the fence. But before that, Jorge, he's able to kick out of a single, and so that, he does have some sort of takedown defense. And then he also stopped the body lock takedown, and then he throws his head kick, and then he throws a 1-2, and then hits him with a switch stance straight right. So Jorge's able to hit him, before they're getting into the clinch and takedown situations. And then in round 3, Kamaru will throw a 1-2, and then he shoots against the fence and hits him with some elbows. And then he'll clinch again against the fence and get the double leg takedown as Jorge is rushing in. And then, Jorge, he'll throw. He threw the body kick and gets clinched. And, that's when Usman's entering whenever Jorge is throwing at him. But then Usman's able to pull him off the fence and get the body lock lift takedown clean in the center of the mat, not against the fence. And then he's able to go to side control and then work the full guard from there. And then in the fourth round, Kamaru is able to get the high single, and he gets a clinch up against the fence again. And then he gets a double leg to standing back control. And he'll connect with the left jab after Jorge threw the body kick. And then he'll hit him with the big left hook in the clinch attempt up against the fence. And then something I noticed, Jorge, he'll just skirt along the outside of the fence. And, whenever Kamaru, kind of inviting Kamaru to clinch him. And then, but Masvidal was able to throw elbows to exit the clinch. But like I said, he likes to stay around that fence. He didn't really come forward too much later on in the fight. And then in the last round, Kamaru was able to hit Jorge with a 1-2 and then a double leg takedown. And they get into full guard, and then he's able to transition to side control. But Jorge is able to throw a counter right off of Usman's jab. And then he'll get, when he got taken down, he's able to scramble out during the Kamaru's full mount transition. So, he has some movement on the ground, but they ended up in a front headlock position for the rest of that round, except toward the end, they got back to their feet, and Jorge was able to blitz forward with a right hook and clip them. But, Jorge had his moments, but he never rocked Usman. And like I said, he was too cautious, and he just didn't, he wasn't as aggressive as you'd think he'd be. But looking at the betting odds, Usman's minus 435 and Jorge's plus 320. Like I said, minus 435, that's a lot of money to lay down on somebody. But, I don't. Jorge, he got dominated, but he didn't. He got dominated positionally. He didn't get his ass beat, I wouldn't say. But he didn't show anything that would tell me that he has a chance in the rematch or he made any improvements. He never, like I said, he never rocked him or anything, and he really has no answers for him on the ground. He's able to stop a couple of takedowns, but Usman just keeps firing takedowns. And even if Usman doesn't get the takedown, he'll win when he gets the clinch up against the fence. And he'll just beat him up to the body or the head. I like Usman here because we haven't seen anything from Jorge. Who knows how much better he is, but we know Usman has got a lot better, and he's developed his jab. That's scary. The only thing that could give me pause is if Usman decides just to strike with Jorge, but I think he'll play smart. I think he'll strike with him as long as he can, and if he's getting beat on the feet, I think he'll be able to go to the ground, and I think that'll actually work to Usman's advantage because if he's striking with Jorge a lot, then maybe Jorge won't be expecting a takedown, and he'll be able to get it easier, so I'm going to go with Kamaru. Hey everyone, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for supporting me. It means a lot to me. Like I said, I'm not the best analyst in the world, but I'm working on it. And I apologize. I know this wasn't my best analysis for this card, but I don't know. I had there's a lot of data with the women's fights, and Zhang and Joanna fight there's a lot of action in that one, and I'm working on understanding the striking more and what everything means in the fight, but I'm working on it. I appreciate it. And, like I said, the past two cards have only got one fight wrong. This is a very tricky card to bet on because you got 3 championship fights, and crazy shit happens in championship fights. But one piece of data that I just thought of, the last 2 cards, there were 3 title fights. All the champions retained except for Jan, but that was a crazy circumstance. I think he would have won that fight. So basically I'm picking all the champions to retain. But, I'm not super crazy about the rematch, but Usman's honestly my favorite fighter, and I want to see him get another defense. I want to see him beat GSP's record. This is a great card for the first fight with live attendance, full capacity, 15,000 people. It's going to be insane. There's never been a better time to be an MMA fan, let alone UFC fan. They're putting on a great show here. I'm pumped. With that being said, I want everybody to leave a comment. Give me your thoughts on the fights. We can discuss. We can have a debate. If you have any recommendations for me, any tips for me, any criticism, I'll be here to take it. I'm always trying to get better. I know there's a lot of room for me to get better. And, if you want to get my follow-up analysis of the fight, you can follow me on Snapchat and follow me on Twitter if I have any changes on my mind or whatever. But I'm pretty solid on this one, so I appreciate the support, and, it's not the best analysis in the world, but it's free, and hopefully I can win everybody some money here. So thanks, guys. Let's go.